Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you how to root your Pixel 3 or Pixel 3 XL running Android Pie using TWRP and Magisk. Now this video is aimed towards beginners. Now if you're more seasoned in this area, I do recommend that you check out the timestamps below just to skip to the things that you need to know. Otherwise, buckle in and enjoy the ride. So we'll go over a few things before we begin. Magisk is a root management tool that also enables you to download modules for your phone. Now these are systemless add-ons or modifications that I use to enhance my personal use of my phone. They've got some pretty cool things there, so we can check that out later. And more importantly, you should be able to go about doing that yourself as well. Now this video is quite early in this whole scheme of things, so there will be some changes later on that you might have to do, such as the different builds of Magisk. There's currently stable, beta, and canary channels. This video will show you how to use the canary builds of Magisk, but pretty much the whole process is still the same, but then you'll just need to change over to the stable or the beta channels or releases of Magisk later on once they iron out a few things for the Pixel 3. The next thing we'll talk about is TWRP, which stands for Team Win Recovery Project. This is a custom recovery for flashing, also known as installing, custom zips, and it also contains some extra functionality that is missing from the stock recovery. TWRP can be temporarily booted or permanently installed. That is optional, and you need to boot TWRP before you can install it. And also having TWRP means that you may not be able to decrypt your data partition after the security updates that come out every month. So just keep your eye on that. There are workarounds, so your mileage may vary, but I'll be showing you how to install it just for this video. Now just a little bit more information. We have things called Safety Net and the Compatibility Test Suite, and this is usually bypassed by Magisk using Magisk Hide, but unfortunately it may not always be the case. There will be some times where Google will catch up and detect whatever Magisk is using to, I guess, maybe even hide itself. So there will be times where you may not be able to use Google Pay, or your banking app might not work, or you can't play Pokemon Go, things like that. So you need to be wary of that. You may not be able to do some of those things at any given time. And when you take OTAs while rooted, you will need to do this maybe a little bit differently. If you have Magisk only installed, then it's a little bit easier, but with TWRP, you may need to do something else entirely. And if you just take OTAs normally, you may lose root, and worst of all, you may end up in a boot loop, but that would be easily fixed. And also, your warranty may be void after unlocking the bootloader, but your mileage may vary depending on how they want to treat that. I haven't had the pleasure of returning or claiming warranty on a phone that's rooted before, so yeah, just be mindful of that. And with that being said, here are some requirements before we begin. You're going to need about 20 minutes of time. You're going to need to have some patience, and you really need to have some basic comprehension. I'm not trying to put down anyone, but you need to be able to read things again over and over just to make sure you understand what's going on, because you don't want to do something silly and risk your device as well. And the last thing is to be able to ask questions, because I think we all started out somewhere. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask it down in the comment section below, or you can join us on Discord. And if I'm not there, someone will be there to help you out, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll be there sooner or later. But yeah, give us a shout and your questions, and I'll be able to answer them maybe within 1 to 2 business days. So with that being said, let's continue. So I also have a website here, and I'll leave a link to the post that is associated with this video. Check there for any updates or any changes to the process that might need to be done. So please keep your eye out on the post down below. It's in the more info, and so are the rest of these links. So the first thing we want to download is the SDK Platform Tools. This is just executables that allow your computer and your phone to communicate with each other via the command prompt or the terminal. So download the one that is right for your operating system. You need to read and agree to the above terms and conditions, and click on the blue download link here. I'm going to save everything in the one folder called Android. It's going to look like something like this at the end, but just make sure you save everything in a place where you know where they are and they are easily accessed. The next thing we want to do is download TWRP. Now, there'll be 2 pages for TWRP, one for the Pixel 3 and one for the Pixel 3 XL, so please download the one that is right for your device, and the download link's down here. And what you can do once this loads is just download both of these files, but I'll break it down here. If you don't want to install TWRP, you don't have to download the TWRP installer. zip file, the first link, you can just download the second one, the image file, to temporarily boot up TWRP. But in my case, I will be installing TWRP, so I'm going to download both of these files. You just click on them and then click on the bigger download link here. You don't want the ASC, which is the signature for the file. You want to download the actual zip file or the actual image file, and don't download the MD5 either. You won't be needing that. Now over to Crosshatch, which is the Pixel 3 XL. So just download both of these files, and the zip file, especially if you're wanting to install TWRP permanently. Now next thing is Magisk. I'm just going to show you the XDA thread for the beta and stable versions of Magisk, although we will be using the canary builds. Now if you're watching this video maybe even a couple weeks or a couple months later, and you can see at least version 17.4 as the beta or stable version, you can just download it from this page, scroll down a little bit, and you'll be able to see the latest downloads here, along with an uninstaller and the Magisk Manager as a standalone. But since we're quite early on the scene, we'll be using the canary channel to do our rooting for us. So I'm going to click on the release channel, the bit.ly there, and then just wait for that load the JSON. And pretty much these are just links that the Magisk Manager APK uses to get updates and things like that. So what we want to do here is go down to where it says Magisk, highlight it here. You'll see version, version code, and the link attribute. I want you to select just the link between the quotes like so. Right click on it and click on go to the link here, the second entry on Chrome, and this will load up the link in a new tab. And just download the release somewhere. I'm going to save it in this same Android folder, and I'd recommend that you actually get the file name from here, so just add this version to it, just so you know which version you've downloaded, because this one doesn't come with a version number. So it'll look something like this, and just save this where you saved everything else. I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to download it again. But once you have downloaded it, you should have these 4 files, or at least 3 if you don't plan on installing TWRP. We'll just go over it really quickly. So the first thing is the platform tools. Then we have TWRP, the image, then TWRP, the installer, and the Magisk zip file. So it may not be canary when you're doing this. You could be just using the stable or even the beta version. But for this video, I'll be using the canary builds. Now what we need to do next is to extract the platform tools folder. So extract the folder inside the zip file, just into the same directory as our Android files are. Wait for that to extract, and then we can close the zip file, and we're going to open up the platform tools folder. Now here's where we need to open up the command prompt window or the terminal window or PowerShell if you like to use that, in the same directory as where these files are. So on Windows, you can either shift and right click in an empty space in the folder, and you should be able to see the option of opening a PowerShell window here. Alternatively, you can go up to the address bar here and then type in CMD to open a command prompt window in the same directory. For Mac and Linux, depending on, I guess, your desktop environment, you should be able to do something quite similar. Otherwise, you'll need to use the CD command, short for change directory, and put the path to the platform tools here. I'm going to be using my console emulator here, but just go through one of the methods I discussed just then to open up a command prompt window, terminal window, or PowerShell window to the same directory. You should be able to see it in your command prompt or your terminal, the directory that it's currently set at, okay? So once you've done that, we can go back one folder, so back into our Android folder, and we're going to go to our device to set up a few things before we unlock the bootloader. So after this stage, we will be wiping our device, so please keep that in mind. If you have anything on your device that you need to save, please back it up now, because you will lose it as soon as we unlock the bootloader. So we're going to go into the settings here, scroll all the way to the bottom, go to System, and then tap on About Phone, and then scroll down a little bit until you see the build number. Tap on that 7 times, and you'll be asked to enter your PIN or password or pattern. So enter that in and go back 1, and then go to Advanced, and you should see the developer options here. Tap on that, and where it says OEM unlocking, make sure you enable that. You'll need to enter your PIN, password, or pattern once more, and you'll also need to tap on Enable, and you should see that switch flick to the on state. Now once you've done that, we're going to reboot our phone into the bootloader. So this is where we're going to unlock the bootloader, and this is also where our phone will wipe itself. So please back up anything you need, any files that are on your internal storage, because that is what it will wipe. Now what we want to do here is we're going to go through the slow way. We're going to power off our phone and disconnect the USB cable. And once your phone is off, I want you to hold the power and volume down buttons together until you see the bootloader screen. And once you're in the bootloader screen, plug in your USB cable, and we're going to go back to our computer here, and we're going to type in our command prompt or PowerShell or terminal window, we're going to type in fastboot devices, like so, and hit enter. You should see, hopefully, your serial number connected here with the word fastboot next to it. If you don't see anything there, please double check your USB connections. But if you still get nothing, you may need to install the drivers for the bootloader interface and also probably ADB. I do have a video on that down below, so just check that out, follow through that video, and then come back to this step once you've sorted that out, and we'll continue with unlocking the bootloader. So the next command we'll type is to unlock the bootloader. We're going to type in fastboot flashing unlock, like so, hit enter. And you should see the screen on our phone change here. I'll just make that big again. And we're going to use the volume keys to go up or down and until it says unlock the bootloader, and we're going to press the power button to select that entry. Now our phone will unlock the bootloader and shortly boot back into the bootloader, and from there we can actually verify if it's unlocked. You can see that the text down here is turned red and also says unlocked, so we're good to go. So we're going to reboot our phone by pressing start or selecting start, and our phone's going to boot up. Now you're going to see this orange screen here where your software integrity may be, I guess, at risk, but this is just something that happens when you unlock the bootloader because I guess it doesn't really verify anything. So that was the device protection features that I was talking about earlier on when we were enabling OEM unlock. But you're going to see that screen every time you reboot. Please don't relock the bootloader like it says, because if you relock the bootloader without everything being 100% stock, you may brick your device, you may make it unusable, and we don't want that. So just don't do what it says until you're ready to actually, unroot your phone, make sure it's 100% stock, and then go back. But otherwise, please don't relock the bootloader. Now at this point, you can actually set up your device as normal, as we won't be wiping our phone anymore. I'm going to do that really quickly. But yeah, this is where you can start setting up your apps, add your Google account, things like that. So I'm going to fast forward this part. Okay, so I've just set up my phone here, and I'm going to now connect it to the computer because we need to copy over the Magisk zip file and the TWRP installer. So we're just going to do that really quickly. I'm going to set this for file transfer, and then we're going to go to our computer here, and you can see the Pixel 3 has already come up. Otherwise, just go to this PC as you normally do, go to your internal shared storage, open that up, wait for that to load, and just copy in the TWRP installer and the Magisk zip file like that. So select those two and just copy it over. So you can drag it in the title bar area, just as long as you don't put it on top of another folder. You should see the two files copied over at the bottom when you scroll down, so just those two. So now we're going to reboot into the bootloader, and to do this we want to hold the power button, and when you tap on restart and when the phone turns black or the screen freezes, I want you to hold the volume down button. So here we go, and I'm going to hold it now, and this will get our phone into the bootloader, but we just need to wait maybe a few seconds for it to do that. But just keep holding it until your phone does go into the bootloader, and once you're in the bootloader, we're going to go ahead and type in the command here in order to boot our phone into the TWRP image here. So I'm going to type in check how device is connected, so we type in fastboot devices, hit enter, and then you should see the serial number pop up again just like before. And once you've done that, we can do the boot command. So we type in fastboot boot, leave a space after the word boot, and drag in the TWRP image, and this will temporarily load the image onto our device, and you should be able to see it, our phone turn into that image. So I'm just going to make this big again, and I just want to go over what we're going to do in TWRP. So we're going to first off install TWRP and then also flash Magisk, so that will root our device. I'll show you two ways on how to flash zip files in TWRP, just in case when you're at this screen when I ask you to decrypt and mount the data partition. For example, you're entering your password or passcode. For example, this is incorrect, but if you keep getting this message even though you have entered the correct passcode, pattern, or PIN, then that means TWRP isn't able to decrypt your data partition, mainly due to security updates and other things like that. So what you can do is actually go back into Android and disable or remove your screen lock, so that's your PIN, passcode, or pattern, and then come back here and this screen shouldn't show up. But in this case, I'm just going to enter my pattern because TWRP can decrypt our data partition, at least on this update, which is the I think this comes with the October update. But whatever it may be, in case you can't go in there, there's always another way around it. So right now we're going to tap on install, scroll down, and this is only going to appear like this if we have decrypted our data partition successfully. And we're going to tap on the TWRP installer. Now please note again that this is optional. You don't have to install TWRP to your device to root your phone. It's just an additional functionality kind of thing. So I'm going to swipe to confirm flash. So it's just that you can actually go into TWRP and do whatever you want there without having to be next to a computer in order for it to transfer the boot image to your phone to boot up temporarily. So this is more of a permanent thing. Okay, so it's just going to install to both slots there. And afterwards, I'm actually going to reboot my phone back into TWRP just to make sure that it's installed. Always a good idea. So I'm going to go back, tap on reboot, and then tap on recovery. Now I'm going to show you guys something else here, and this is really only for the Pixel 3 users on this version of TWRP. Please look at my website for any updates to this. But currently the 3XL cannot use ADB in TWRP, so this is kind of pointless. But if you do have the 3XL or even the 3, you can just enter in your pattern again to decrypt and then flash Magisk like I just showed you when we flashed TWRP. But otherwise, you can hit cancel, and if you get this message, an unmodified system partition, you want to keep that as read only. But I'm going to show you how to sideload a zip file to install if you can't access your internal storage, or it looks something like this. So in order to sideload, we need to go to advanced and then tap on ADB sideload, and then just swipe to start sideload. I'm just going to say once again, the 3XL users, you won't be able to do this just yet on this version of TWRP. So you would have wanted to decrypt your data partition, or you could use USB OTG, but maybe we'll cover that in a different video. But yeah, you would need to decrypt your data partition and flash Magisk just as you did with the TWRP zip. Now once you have started ADB sideload for Pixel 3 users, we can now type in the command prompt ADB sideload, leave a space after the word sideload, and drag in the Magisk zip file. So we're going to hit enter on that, and this will start up the ADB daemon, and then it will start to transfer or stream the zip file to our phone. And if we see here, it's actually running the script here, the installation, and this is what it looks like side by side. We can see that Magisk is almost done. Okay, so we're done here. At this point, you can just tap reboot system and then just wait for your phone to turn on. But just in case anyone else was a bit lost in doing this, and you accidentally, for example, didn't enter your pattern, you can actually go to mount and then here tap on decrypt data to get to that same screen again. In case you press cancel accidentally, or you really don't want to mess around with ADB right now, you can just decrypt your data partition, do the same thing, go to install, and then tap on Magisk and swipe to flash that if you wanted to as well. So you can do it either way. I'm just going to show you both just in case you can't do one or the other. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to reboot system, and if it asks you to install a TWRP app, I would say no, but you can install it if you wanted to. But I'm going to tap on do not install, and now we're going to wait for our phone to turn on, and hopefully it does, into Android with our phone that is rooted using Magisk. I actually had to re-record this section because my first time recording, the file got corrupted, so you're going to see something that's a little bit different from where we left off from before, but I didn't, forcibly do anything sneaky behind the scenes. This is how I did it the first time, and I just have to show it off again. So our phone's booted up. Now before we check anything, you need to do one more thing, and that is to go into the settings here, and we need to disable automatic system updates. So tap on system with me, and then go to about phone. You'll also need to re-enable developer options if you have to, so do that please. And once you have the developer options enabled, go in there, and where it says automatic system updates, usually it's turned on. I want you to make sure that's turned off, just so we don't run into any headaches later on down the road with your phone trying to automatically download updates and installing them whenever you restart your phone, which will be pretty annoying. But now we're going to check on Magisk, and we should see that we are rooted. So if you don't see the Magisk app in your app drawer, you might need to install the APK manually. I'll probably have some details down below on that on my website. But just wait a while, the app should appear after the first boot, and when you tap on it, you should see you're on the latest version. It might say 17.2, but your installed version should be the 17.4. You can also tap on this box to check the safety net status. It will prompt you to install something initially, but I've already done that previously as I had to re-record this section. But yeah, you feel free to browse through Magisk, look at the modules. You shouldn't have any installed right now, but you can go here to the download section and download modules for your phone. Keep in mind, not all of them may work for your phone, so please do be careful when you look for Magisk modules to download. Here's our super user requests area, and also Magisk hide if you need to hide Magisk from anything, such as I think like Pokemon Go, Snapchat, your banking apps, things like that, which is also very handy. But there we are, guys. And also, just one more thing before I forget, if you want to get updates from the Canary channel, so the one that we used for this installation, but if you in the future, you probably don't have to do this, but if you ever wanted to, go to settings and then go to update channel, tap on custom and insert that same tiny URL that we found earlier on the XDA thread. Just type that in there, hit OK, and you should be getting updates from the Canary channel instead, which is pretty handy if you need to do that kind of stuff. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. And once again, if you have any other comments, feel free to leave it down below, or even better yet, you can join me on Discord where we'll be able to talk in more of a real-time kind of thing. There's lots of friendly people on there to talk about whatever pretty much, and also if you need any help as well. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching once again, and as always, happy flashing.